You like to talk? How about that? So do we. Please join us right now for Packard Pokes At Okay, Let's Talk. Hello everybody, this is Packard Pokes At with Okay, Let's Talk. Tonight we're going to be doing something a little different with our Okay, Let's Talk. We're going to be talking about no sacred cows, and we're going to try to break this down into 3 smaller segments. And for our final segment for tonight, we'll be getting back to the commentary that we had from one of our previous shows, and we'll be replying to some comments on those. For the first segment tonight, we're going to be talking about no sacred cows in religion. Before we actually get going, in case you're not understanding what the terminology means in sacred cows in this instance, it's basically a person's ideas, beliefs, or things that they find venerated. You know, like some religious people find a piece of cloth that they think came from Magic Sky Wizard's best buddy or thing or whatever, thingamajigger. So, but when it comes to religion, there should be no sacred cows, because the fact is that it's just not a thing. When it comes to religious circles, people who are in the higher ups, like Pat Robertson and Joe Osteen and people like that, they think that they are so above everybody else because of their beliefs, and because people buy their bullshit, thinking that if they give them money that they will go to heaven when they die or whatever. These people are just scammers overall, but people don't want to believe that because they want to believe in religion. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I think one of their sacred cows is, at least for someone such as myself, someone who's bisexual, I just love how one of their sacred cows is, oh, well, we can't provide service to gay people because in providing service, we would be condoning their activities, which is stupid, because these are the same people that argue that, oh, well, we shouldn't blame guns and gun sales when a mass shooting happens. Mm-hmm. It's just, to me, I mean, I'll get into more of this when we reach the politics side, but yeah, that's just absolute nonsense. What someone does with what you sell them, whether it's a cake or anything else, is none of your freaking business. And as far as adoption is concerned, again, I think you and I have agreed on this before, Packard. I mean, these people would rather a child sit alone in an orphanage than go to a loving home.
Yeah, we have discussed that quite in length on this show. That these people, they're holding on to this belief that gay people can't be parents for whatever reason, and this is, I suppose, this is their sacred cow in a matter of speaking, because the fact is that they think that they try to put this narrative on to gay people that they can't be parents because of their holy book, which is part of their sacred cow fetish, I would think, because in the Bible back then, these people were bigots and homophobes, and because of that, they believe what these people wrote down as the truth forever and ever and ever, which is just garbage. Another one of those sacred cow things that they have is they venerate the cross. To put it mildly, there's a meme that goes around that basically says, if John F. Kennedy were to be resurrected tomorrow, do you think he'd want to see a bunch of guns hanging around people's necks? I don't think he would, because that was a torture device. But people fetishize having a cross up everywhere. And I think if, Jesus actually existed, and if he were coming back, I don't think he'd want to see a bunch of crosses everywhere, because I think he'd be freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. I mean, if I can't speak for you guys, but if I were to, let's say, be murdered by a gun and I was resurrected, the last thing I would want to see is a gun.
Exactly. So,
I think when it comes to Islam, I think one of their biggest golden cows is every woman has to be covered, which, really? I mean, it gets pretty hot in the Middle East. You don't want to see a freaking thong or something? Like, really?
Yeah. Now, this isn't quite a sacred cow, but it's pretty along the lines of what Tony was saying there, is that recently this came out. There's an app that you can get on, or the Apple Store, the Apple Play Store and Google Store, at least as of the date of this recording anyway, that these people were over in Iraq where they could download and they would be able to track their wives or girlfriends or whoever, and they could limit how far they went, where they went. They could control their passports. They would be able to geotag where they're at. They would know everything, their whereabouts all the time. And that had to, they're trying to get those apps pulled from the stores. because these things are inhumane. It's like if somebody here were to put a tracking app on your phone without your permission, but they didn't need your permission to do so, or you didn't need their permission to do so. You could just track you everywhere you wanted to go.
I'd be fucking someone up.
Yeah, I would be too. I would really be fucking somebody up if that were his instance. So,
but over there, they're really strict on women.
Yes, they are.
It's like GPS,
Yeah, exactly it. That's exactly it. They put a GPS on these ladies, which is total garbage.
Mm-hmm. Well, because they think they're screwing around or whatever.
They don't know. They don't even need. They don't even need that excuse. If they thought they were screwing around, they'd just be killed. They just want to have control over them. They just want to be able to control their lives. You know why? Because they don't have a penis.
Right.
Ever since the dawn of time, Islam has pretty much been a male-dominated culture.
Yes. Actually, Islam and Christianity are kissing cousins when it comes to this shit. Because if you've ever read the Bible, and I know most of us on this show have, is that early Christianity and early Judaism, if you look in the history of this religion, this is actually a real thing. And even today in Christianity, there are some churches, and one of them being Pentecostal church, because I know because I used to be Pentecostal for a short time, that not that the women had to be completely covered, but they had very strict rules. Women couldn't cut your hair. They always had to wear dresses. Doesn't matter if it was 50 degrees below zero, you had to wear a dress. You could probably wear some kind of leggings or something underneath it, but you had to wear a dress. Period. That's without exception. But Islam goes one step further, and they just cover everybody up with a goddamn glad bag, pretty much.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the holy books, I think the Torah, which is pretty much the Old Testament, the New Testament, which is Christianity, and the Quran. I think when it comes to the holy books, they're all three of them are just male dominated, but at least for the most part, Christianity and Judaism at least has somewhat evolved past that. I say somewhat lightly.
Well, since this is a secular country, and we all agree this is a secular country, and most people, I would like to think that they present themselves more as cultural Christians instead of being a more extreme Christian. Do we have extreme Christians in this country? Oh, fuck, yes, we do. People like Pat Robertson and Joel Osteen, etc., and Westboro Baptist Church, just to name a few. Those are the more extreme Christians in this country.
It's funny you bring up culture of Christians because I've been meaning to read this book and get this book. I believe it's called The Face of the Founding Fathers. And I think in it explains that by today's standard, most of the Founding Fathers were cultural Christians.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you had the most obvious ones being, I think, like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson being just flat out atheists by today's standards.
Yeah. In those days, those people were considered to be they're deists at best. And there was only one or two Christians of the original founding fathers, and the rest were deists. And possibly an atheist, but I think that atheism really wasn't discussed or defined maybe back then, as it were.
Actually, I think I made a video about this. I think the book went to say that I'm just telling you what the author said, that they were, in a way, Christian deists because, the culture they were our founding fathers were in was obviously majority Christian. Mm-hmm. But like that in the book, he says by today's standards, they would be cultural Christian because they may have taken the Christian label. But if you read most of the founding fathers' readings on religion, it's not like they believed it, to the extreme like the Westboro Baptist Church does.
Correct. I actually 100% agree with you on that point. Take Thomas Jefferson, for example. There's a copy of the Thomas Jefferson Bible in the Smithsonian. I believe it's there, wherever it's at. But if you get a look at it, Thomas Jefferson went through and he took out all the miracles. Because in his mind, I'm assuming, he thought all the miracles and the magical shit that's in there was just crap. And he left in all the good stuff, which I think would probably came down to about a pamphlet. Since I've been reading the Bible for the Atheist, the Bible No Wardrobe, that's our second podcast, by the way, if you want to check it out. We come across very few things in there that are actually good. I've come across, maybe 6 sets of passages so far out of 5 books, 6 books. That's about that's a passage per book. That's okay. It's not horrible, but it's okay. So to round off this part of the segment here, do not fall for these people who claim to speak for God or a god or any gods, because these are not sacred people. They're not, what they say is not sacrosanct. It's not without question. And you should be questioning the people that you think are your leaders. Did you like this discussion? Let us know your thoughts by email at ppapodcast@gmail.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to be notified for our show. Thank you.